Well, this man has certainly been in the headlines of late. Reaction to the loss of Mike Tyson to Buster Douglas, certainly one of the biggest shockers in boxing history. The former trainer of Mike Tyson, Kevin Rooney. And Kevin, you had some words that Mike Tyson was ready for the fall, and turned out not to be sour grapes, but certainly prophetic warning. What was your reaction when you saw what happened in the ring? Let's forget about the controversy of the long count. Let's talk about the man that stepped in the ring posing as the champion of the world.
Well, I was a little surprised that they allowed him to get into the ring in that frame of mind, and it hurt. It really hurt to watch Mike, who I consider my fighter, mine and Custer's fighter, take a beating like that, getting hit with lead right hands, getting hit with jabs. I know that wasn't Mike, and I know that he probably should not have fought. They should have came up with an excuse that he was sick and pulled out. But the powers that be made him fight because they're more interested in money. Now I hear like the great Mike Marley taking shots at me that I want money. It never was about money with me and Mike. Now, but the people, Don King and his people, made him get in the ring in that mental condition and fight for the money. Now, you know, who's calling who what?
Go ahead,
Kevin,
Sean.
what specifically is it that you saw in Mike that you said, wait a second, this may not be his night?
Well, when he first stepped into the ring, he wasn't cut up, and then after the first round, second round, third round, he just showed no desire to fight.
What do you mean he wasn't cut up when he first stepped in the ring?
When I had him, I always used to talk to him and I wanted him to, you know, be chiseled. Back muscles showing, all the arm muscles showing. Sacrifice, you know. Sacrifice is what it comes down to. And he wasn't like that. Now I hear reports he was taking off 20 pounds like 2 weeks before the fight. Now, the people, Don King, knows that he's doing that. They should call the fight off. He wasn't prepared mentally to engage. He didn't want to put his life on the line. And if he doesn't want to do that, he shouldn't be in there.
Well, you said he didn't want to put his life on his line. His life has gone in so many directions. Do you think that Mike Tyson has lost interest in fighting?
Well, it looks that way. It definitely looks that way. And I would have to say yes to that question. Now, again, I want him to come back to the gym. I feel bad. I feel bad that now Buster Douglas is getting very cocky the way he is. And I would like the opportunity to put me and him back together for the one fight just to prove that I can do the job better than Don King and his yes men.
Is that more of an impossibility than Buster Douglas beating Mike Tyson?
I would hope not. I mean, and Mike can keep Don King as his promoter. I don't care. All I want is to be able to train him.
What heavyweights would have beaten Mike Tyson that night? Could you name a few?
I would have to say most of the contenders. Evander would have beat him. Carl Williams may have even beat him. Mike didn't want to fight, and I don't know the answer. Something went on over there in Japan. I know he doesn't like Japan. They went over there 3 weeks before the fight. They should have went over there 5 weeks before the fight. He shouldn't have took 5 days off after getting knocked down by Greg Page. He should have sparred 10 rounds that day and 10 rounds the next day. He wasn't training. I don't care what anybody says.
Is there any notion in your mind that you may ever hear from Mike Tyson again, or do you think as long as he's with Don King, you're completely out of the picture?
I don't know. I wish he would call. I wish he would just call me and say, "Hey, Kevin, I don't want you anymore." He never did that.
So you never even heard from him since the last fight you worked?
They haven't. He didn't learn the lessons from Cus D'Amato. Now I've done bad things. Cus didn't like me to gamble, and I gambled. I admit my mistakes. But when it comes to boxing, I try to do it as close to what Cus wanted, and I felt I was successful with Mike. I was able to complete the job that Cus D'Amato started. And he's not going to get no one else, not Jay Bright, and definitely not Aaron Snowell. Jay and Mike educated the enemy by talking about whatever they talked about. They've educated the enemy, and it's bad.
Do you think there's enough of a shocker to wake Mike Tyson up? Do you think this is the warning for him, the wake-up call, and after this one he'll get back into shape and again he'll knock everybody out in the first round? Or do you think this could be the beginning of the end?
I really don't know. I'm not happy that I'm not happy that Don King has, made him say that I go home every night and that Bill Caton and Kevin Rooney, they only want me because of the money. Because that's all Don King wants. Don King wants control of the heavyweight division, and that's all he wants. I'm not happy that I think the Duvers and Evander Holyfield and the manager Sanders are going to take the $3 million or whatever it is to step aside and let Mike fight Douglas. I'm not happy that Douglas may be looking to grab all the money from fighting Mike again. I understand their point, but I wish that the Duvers would stand on principle for once and not the money and say, you know what, we're going to fight because we got the shot to beat Douglas. And if they were to beat Douglas, then they would be the bosses, and let's have someone else be the boss instead of Don King.
We just saw an example with Simon Brown and Jorge Maisonet. Maisonet has never been the same fighter since his loss to Simon Brown. Could that be the same case with Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson?
Well, it could be that way. I'm asking for the opportunity to try to correct that. I believe that it can be corrected, and Mike had problems going into that fight. Whatever went on in Japan, I don't know because I wasn't there. But I think that I can help him. I wish he'd come back to the gym that Cuss started. It's still the same. Everything's the same in the gym. And all my fighters will learn the same thing that Cuss taught me, that I try to continue to teach Mike, and I want the opportunity to do that again.
Do you think Mike Tyson is making any of his decisions at this point?
I think that Don King is very smart, and he lets Mike think he is, but he's really not.
One other question. Possible Holyfield-Foreman fight. What do you see in that one?
Well, that's a tough fight. You know, people don't give Foreman credit. I give him a lot of credit. He stays very calm. He proved in a Rooney fight because Jerry looked very good in one round and so rocked him, but Foreman stayed very calm, and when he had Jerry hurt, he took him out of there. George Foreman is someone you can't take lightly. If I was Evander's people, I would avoid George Foreman, only because he's so big and he's so powerful that he could take you out.
Would you have added George Foreman to the list of heavyweights who would have beaten Tyson that night?
Probably, definitely, yes, because he punches hard, and he would have went after Mike.
All right, Kevin Rooney very much in the headlines and in the news right now and trying to get back to Mike Tyson. And Kevin says, Mike, if you're watching and you have his number, give him a call. We'll be